I'm Brent Hill, I'm the CEO of Tourism Fiji.
Thank you very much for giving us time at World Travel Market 22. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic to be here. Obviously, from the beautiful islands of Fiji, it's a little bit of a travel over here, but we're really excited to talk to people about Fiji, and we're going really well. So it's been good.
Tell me a little bit about sort of how the last 2 years have played out and how things are looking going forward.
Yeah, well, obviously Fiji is a place where tourism is incredibly important. It's around 38 to 40% of our GDP, so it is really, really important. So the last couple of years were, to use the words catastrophic is not too over the top. So we reopened in December 1, so we're coming up to 12 months that we've been reopened. And look, we set some modest targets, and then we've had to revise them about 3 or 4 times. So we're really excited about the future, and I think Australians, New Zealanders, US have come back in really, really strong numbers. In fact, better than ever. And so now we're starting to look at those long haul markets, UK, Europe, etc. again now. So it's quite an exciting time for us.
That's great, and it's great to hear that things that hopefully those revised targets have been upward.
Yes,
that's great.
Upwards, yeah.
Congratulations on that for sure. And those markets, interesting to kind of get your view on what's changed in terms of behaviours and opportunities, I suppose, in a sense, as we look forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few interesting trends when we've actually sort of drilled into the numbers. We've seen a lot of what we call multi-generational groups coming. So in Fiji, we have a lot of resorts that have got what we call residences. So really big properties, maybe 4 or 5 bedrooms, and they're doing exceptionally well. So this is a little bit of like the parents saying, right, let's get the family together, let's all go together. So that's a market we've noticed. We've seen families coming, and then there's been a really strong rise in female travellers as well. So a bit of the girls' trips, and Fiji is a place that does that really, really well. It's very safe. It's very much around relaxation, chilling out with a little bit of adventure. So that works really well as well. So there's some interesting trends that are coming through, and they're all really positive trends, and also the value, the amount that people are prepared to spend. We've seen that the average rate being paid and the average amount being spent is about 17% up on 2019. So certainly for us, given how we're so reliant on tourism, it's been really exciting.
That's great to hear. The quality and the ADRs are better than before. That's fantastic.
Very, very strong.
Why don't you give us a bit of colour about sort of like what we can do when we get to Fiji? Give us a sense of that experience that we would get.
Yeah, look, I think Fiji. When I think people think of Fiji, they think of this exotic island destination. Probably think of their screensaver, at their workplace. It's all of that. I live in Fiji. My weekends are filled with, going out into islands where, the water and the air temperature is about the same. So it's about 29 degrees, pretty much year round. So it is really all the place that you dream of. What's also wonderful and sets it apart is it has the most amazing culture and an incredibly happy people. So our tagline at the moment is where happiness comes naturally, and that's, I think, speaks volumes about what Fiji is all about. So when you come, yes, you will get all of that island experience, beautiful luxury properties, amazing, water, adventure, relaxation mixed in, but you are going to leave with an imprint of Fiji on your heart, because the Fijian people are our trump card, and that's the really special part of coming to Fiji is the people are wonderful. We love having tourists come. So we don't have any of those issues of over-tourism or we've seen a little bit where people are saying, maybe tourists aren't welcome. We don't have that issue in Fiji. We very much love to see and welcome tourists. And I think, the other thing is around that sustainability side of things. I think, people are being a bit more conscious about travel. And there's a lot of things going on in Fiji where people can get their hands dirty.
Yep.
So whether or not that's adopting a manta ray or helping replant, mangroves and coral, we've got all of those things available.
And just building on that, obviously during WTM we have COP27 running right now. Yeah. You have a strong voice there.
Yes.
Tell us about how you're sort of integrating that into kind of your kind of policy standards and strategy.
Yeah. Look, I think people these days are realising that we have to travel sustainably. I think people want and are expecting that. There's that expression around guilt-free travel. So people want to be able to say, okay, I'm staying here, but how can I do things to feel good about my travel? So yeah, from that perspective, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of international recognised brands. So Six Senses, Marriott, Intercontinental, these kind of brands who are doing wonderful things. And now we're sort of tying on to that. So we've signed up to GSTC. There's a lot of things around single-use plastic, eliminating that. So there's a lot of things that now tourists can do where they can get real hands-on, and it's not just a greenwashing sort of temporary thing. So I think for us being where we are in the South Pacific, we do see the impact of climate change. So it's definitely something that's at the forefront of what we're about, because it's the future.
And talking about South Pacific, and you mentioned earlier long haul, give me a sense of the kind of the ease with which it is to get to Fiji, because I think that is something that I think all of us would love to kind of hear more about. How are you doing with kind of connectivity?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things there. Right now, at the moment, probably the traditional route is to come through Singapore. So the great thing is Fiji Airways, which is a 5-star major airline, just been awarded that by APAC, which is pretty cool. Out of Nandi, there's a lot of connectivity. So you can fly to LA, Singapore, obviously Australia, New Zealand. And then what we're looking towards, that's great now, what we're looking towards in 2023 is Japan and Hong Kong and Vancouver. So when we add those three, that long haul route from Europe is going to be, I think quite elevated. So at the moment, for example, I literally have just come on a plane which was Nandi, Singapore, about a 5-hour layover, and then Singapore straight in here to London. So from that perspective, what we would say is, look, yes, that's long haul, but once you get through that, you're in Fiji. You can chill out, relax, and it's worth it. Yeah, and I think as well, we're very comfortable to say, look, we understand that people also come down and they want to do like a New Zealand or it's Australia. By all means, do that. Spend a week in Fiji, spend a couple of weeks in Australia, New Zealand. Go for it. We're seeing certainly that trend, but of course, we love it when people just come and they want to come to Fiji as well.
So for those of us watching this video, and whether that's consumers, trade, they've been enticed by your conversation with me today. What's the next step they take? How do they get to Fiji? What do they do next in terms of watching this video? So
for the trade, we have a wonderful program called the MATAI program, so MATAI, which means expert in Fijian. We've revamped that during COVID, so we were busy working that through. It's very, very simple. Lots of imagery, videos, maps, etc., so you can familiarise yourself. We have our amazing team here. So we have Jane West, based here in London. We have Roberta in Italy and France, and we have Connie in Germany. So of course we have a team that can help you. But if you're a consumer, the main thing is I would say our social media channels. It's all the things that you've dreamt of. So look at that, get inspired. Look at our website, plan out an itinerary. It's actually easier than what you think. And the one thing I would say is, look, a lot of people say, it's on my bucket list. The one thing we've learned out of COVID is don't delay, just go and do it.
Can't think of a better way to end this interview. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Vinaka. Appreciate it.